Look, I need you to think about something for a second. You're sitting there with maybe 8 grand in your savings account, grinding away, and then you hear some finance guru say, the first 100,000 is the hardest. And you're like, cool, man, but I'm not even at 50 yet. What am I supposed to do with that? Here's what nobody tells you. There's a psychological cliff that happens around $50,000 in net worth that fundamentally changes how you think about money. Not motivational fluff, actual, measurable differences in financial behavior. Once you understand this, it's like someone turned the lights on in the room you've been stumbling around in. My name's Cashford, and I spend way too much time studying the psychological breaking points in people's financial lives. If you're saving, grinding, and wondering when things actually start to feel different, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Let's start with something that sounds backwards. The difference between having 5,000 saved and 25,000 saved feels massive, right? But your brain actually interprets both numbers the same way. They're emergency fund money, not wealth. You're operating defensively, not strategically. The Federal Reserve's 2023 Survey of Consumer Finances found that households with net worth below 50,000 fall back to near zero over and over because every emergency wipes them out. But once households pass 50,000, the chance of dropping below that line over the next 5 years falls to just 18%. Same emergencies, different outcome. Something shifts. If you're making around $60,000 a year and saving 10%, a nice even $500 a month, you watch your balance go from $8,000 to $8,500 to $9,000. But it still doesn't feel like real money. It feels fragile. It feels like a sandcastle a single wave can destroy. And here's the wild part. When people feel financially insecure, their brain literally works worse. Research from the American Psychological Association shows financial stress can drop your effective IQ by 13 points. You're not making bad decisions because you're dumb. You're making bad decisions because you're stressed. At 50,000, that stress style finally lowers enough that your brain can think strategically instead of defensively. And here's where compound interest goes from math class concept to real-life force. With 8,000 invested, an 8% return is about $53 a month. That's background noise. With 50,000 invested, that same return is $333 a month. Now your brain thinks, hold on, my money's actually doing something. You can see the machine working. Saving becomes exciting instead of depressing. Let me give you a real example. My friend, let's call him Marcus, was stuck around 25,000 in net worth for 3 years. He saved consistently, but every emergency knocked him back. Then one year, he got an $8,000 bonus, and he put the entire thing straight into his Roth IRA. That pushed his net worth barely over the 50,000 mark. 2 months later, he needed a $1,200 car repair. Old Marcus would have panicked. New Marcus covered it from his regular emergency fund, didn't touch his investments, and for the first time, he said he felt like he was playing offense instead of defense. 18 months later, he was at 80,000. Same job, same income, different psychology. So how do you actually get to 50,000? First, you need to know your real net worth, not just your checking account. Add up your savings, investments, retirement accounts, and home equity if you have any. Subtract all your debt. That number might hurt, or it might pleasantly surprise you. But you need the truth. You can't hit a target you can't see. Once you know where you are, reverse engineer the timeline. Say you're at 20,000 and want to get to 50. You're 30,000 away. Saving $800 a month gets you there in about 37 months. Saving $1,200 a month gets you there in about 25 months. Once you know the timeline, you can choose speed or sustainability. Do you pick up a side gig, sell stuff you don't use, focus on increasing your income? You're not wandering anymore, you have a plan. And here's where most people blow it. They hit 50,000 and immediately reward themselves. I can upgrade my car now. Let's take a vacation. Let's redo the kitchen. No, that's exactly the wrong move. Once you hit 50,000, your only job is to sprint to 75 and then to 100. Compound interest is exponential. Every dollar you save in your 20s or 30s is worth $3 or $4 you'd have to save later. Do not waste your early dollars. Now let's talk about what actually changes after 50,000, because this is the part that affects your day-to-day life. First, spending decisions get easier. Buying a $600 item when your net worth is $15,000 is 4% of everything you own. Your brain freaks out. Buying that same item at $50,000 is barely 1%. You don't become reckless, you just stop agonizing over every purchase. You get back a huge amount of mental energy. Second, your career decisions get smarter. People under 50,000 tend to stay in jobs they hate, avoid negotiating, and don't take risks because even a short gap in income feels dangerous. But once you have a real cushion, you're willing to negotiate harder, take calculated risks, or switch jobs. And ironically, that leads to more money. And third, your mindset shifts from scarcity to strategy. A study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that people with net worth above 50,000 were 60% more likely to invest in skills or education even when income was the same. Why? Because they finally felt like they could think long-term. So here's my challenge. If you're below 50,000 right now, make hitting that number your single financial priority for the next few years. Not buying a house, not getting a new car, not taking a luxury vacation. Just get to 50,000. Because once you get there, the game changes. The second 50 comes faster. The third comes faster. Momentum finally swings in your favor. And if you're already above 50,000, apply the same logic to your next threshold. 100,000, 250, 500. Each level unlocks new psychological freedom. These aren't just numbers. They're shifts in how you think, how you behave, and how you live. If this helped you rethink your savings goals, hit subscribe, smash the like button, and go calculate your real net worth. Figure out where you are, figure out how long it'll take to reach 50,000, and then execute. It's worth it. I'll see you in the next one.